talk about the traits of being a writer. Why? Because words are important, and we as writers live by our words. So let's talk about some of the traits that transition you from being just a storyteller to being a writer. The first one is persistence. Let's look at the definition of persistence. It is the quality of persisting. It is tenacity. It is the act of persisting, continued effort or existence. What does this mean to you as a writer? Particularly as a screenwriter. It means if a door closes, go find another one. A relationship that you've worked on, sometimes for years, doesn't bear fruit. Develop new relationships. A meeting you attended, a meeting that you thought was very important, went south. The answer is send a thank you card, shake it off, and move on. You think I'm kidding? All the talent in the world cannot be replaced with persistence. Isaac Asimov, a noted science fiction writer, wrote once that you must keep sending work out. You must never let a manuscript do nothing but eat its head off in a drawer. You send that work out again and again while you're working on another one. If you have talent, you will receive some measure of success, but only if you persist. It worked for Isaac Asimov. Let's try another trait of a writer. Work ethic. If you want to be a writer, you write. But you also have to do a few other things. You network, you meet other writers. And then in the world of screenwriting, not only do you meet other writers, but you work to meet other people in the industry. You learn to meet and talk to producers, directors, art directors, lighting directors, anybody on the staff. You read, you take classes, you watch movies. Let me say that again. You watch movies. Why do you watch movies? You watch movies to learn how you write a screenplay. You may see things you don't like. You may see things out of a movie that you didn't like, but you love that scene. Watch movies. Watch things that interest you. Watch things that fascinate you. Watch things that you don't like. Because you'll find that little gem in there that you want to take from that. Constantly be getting something done. Goes back to persistence. Constantly be writing. Get up early. Go to bed late. And I don't mean go to bed late because you're drinking the second bottle of bourbon. I mean go to bed late because you're working. Here's another one. Stay off face crack. Stay off of the other things that get you involved in the inner tubes in some way. The point? Well, the point is if you want to be a writer, you write. You learn your craft. You do it every day. You practice. All life is practice. And if you're not writing a script, be outlining a script. If you're not outlining, work on new ideas. Or work on your pitch. Or work on other materials. Do research for your next script. Writing is a job. Treat it like a job. Being a writer is one of the most infuriating, aggravating, horrifying things you'll ever do. It's also one of the greatest. If you pick an author, any author, for example, the famous Robert Heinlein. That man wrote prodigiously over about a 50-year span of time. But if you ever read anything that he wrote about writing, you'll find out that he said that he wrote some stinkers, and he called them the stinkeroos. You too will write stinkeroos. We all write stinkeroos. The first draft of anything is shit. Accept it and move on. If you expect perfection out of yourself, well, you're not going to get it. Write the best you can, learn from the experience, and keep moving. You stop moving, you stop learning. What's the next trait? Resilience. Let's look at the definition of resilience. It's the power ability to return to the original form position after being bent, compressed, or stretched. Elasticity. The Marines use a term, semper gumbi, coming from the Marine semper fidelis, always faithful. When they say semper gumbi, they mean always flexible. And if you're working in the movie business, believe me, you have to be flexible. You have to have that ability to recover from illness, depression, adversity, and have a sense of buoyancy and make it fun. So let's be honest here. Rejection hurts. You get that pass from a production company, the production company you really wanted for that script, and some reader gives you a pass. You get dropped by an agent, or you lose out on a job in the writing room for a television position that you really wanted. Well, that stings. It all hurts. But always move forward, whether it's fixing a script or rewriting something from scratch, reaching out to friends or managers in search of a new agent, or doing an immense amount of research to figure out what to write next. Always move forward. The author Mike Norton said, "Never say that you can't do something, or that something seems impossible, or that something can't be done, no matter how discouraging or harrowing it might be. Human beings are limited only by what we allow ourselves to be limited by, our own minds. We are each the masters of our own reality. When we become self-aware to this, absolutely anything in the world is possible. Master yourself and become king of the world around you. Let no odds, chastisement, exile, doubt, fear, or any mental veri prevent you from accomplishing your dreams. Never be a victim of life, be its conqueror." So let's look at another trait, determination. So what's the definition of determination? It's the act of coming to a decision or a fixing or settling of a purpose. It is the quality of being resolute. It is to have a fixed purpose or intention. We all have our doubts. We all look at material that we've written and think to ourselves, this is nothing, this is shit, it's crap, it's never going to be made. We all have our doubts. But don't let those self-doubts deter you from your goals. Stay determined to stay the course no matter what comes your way. No matter how bad that meeting went, no matter who shut the door in your face, stay the course. Keep writing. We all go through disappointments, heartaches, health issues, relationship problems. Despite all of that, we don't take our eyes off the ball. Continue to move forward towards your screenwriting goals every day. Winston Churchill, during the period of time in the 1930s he always called the Black Time, when he was out of office, he wrote, "Never give in. Never give in. Never, 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 in nothing, great or small, large or petty, give in." Here's another trait of a writer, community. Community is important to a writer. Writers need to foster and keep an active, rich community around them. They need to know as many other writers as they can. Writers are always willing to come up with notes, and in return have a trusted group of quality writers to get notes from when the time comes. That doesn't mean, of course, that you have to accept all their notes at face value, but it means that you should at least read the notes or listen to them and take something from it, learn something from it. Writers who participate in writers' groups, and often more than one, continue this practice even when they're forging ahead in their own career and they have other groups that they're dealing with. Writers share their experiences but never boast about them. They allow others to root for them and partake in the journey. Going back to humility. You root for the other guy. This isn't particularly working in the movie business. This isn't a story about me. This is a story about the other guy. You. How can I make you successful? Writers are inclusive, they are candid, and they continue to be humble. The last trait that I'm going to talk about is likability. This concept is often held in disdain by the naive. 60% of getting your pitch accepted or hired into a TV writer's room is personality. While agents, managers, showrunners, and producers don't have to love you, they do have to want to spend time with you and believe that they can fundamentally get along with you. After all, if they don't gel with you personally right out the gate, how will they manage you when things go off track? Careers in this business are very much built on relationships, which these writers never forget. On any given day, I can talk to my industry colleagues about any one of them and hear back such comments as, "He's a great guy," or "I really loved her. She did a really nice thing for me." I've been in meetings with producers, and in another life, in meetings with military generals, and have both had them rooting for me when I ended the conversation. Why? Because I developed a relationship with them. I connected with them at some level. From thank you cards to thoughtful conversations, they allow their industry counterparts to really get behind them. Robert Heinlein, many years ago, wrote, "Moving parts in rubbing contact require lubrication to avoid excessive wear. Honorifics and formal politeness provide lubrication where people rub together. Often the very young, the untraveled, the naive, the unsophisticated deplore these formalities as empty and meaningless or dishonest and scorn to use them. No matter how pure their motives, they thereby throw sand into machinery that does not work too well at its very best." Now we come to the question and answer portion of this video. You can ask questions below the videos, or you can go over to right about there and you can post your questions on that site, and I'll be glad to answer them. So the question I got this week was, do you need to know the technical aspects of filmmaking before you can write a script? And the answer is no, you don't. The initial part of that answer is, do not include technical instructions such as camera angles in a speculative script. Just don't do that. So, but it would behoove you as a writer to know the technical aspects of filmmaking, at least in a general sense. And additionally, it probably would, there would be value in having you read books about the film industry and what the executive producer does, what the producer does, what the associate producer does, what the director does, and what the second assistant director does, and I've never figured that one out. So you should understand or come to a general understanding about any of those aspects. Now, having said that, you as a writer, you should look at volunteering, becoming a production assistant on a film shoot, so that you learn the aspects of being in the industry and watching how things get done and why they get done the way that they're getting done, so that you have a basic understanding. So hopefully that answered the question. Again, if you have further questions, please send them there or put them below the video, and I'll be glad to answer them. All right, thanks, bye. And There you have it, some traits about being a writer. Thank you, and have a good evening.